Raw, uncut, and unapologetic. Welcome to Men Talking Mindfulness. Hey, it's been a while since we checked in with John and his fitness journey, so here we are. John, welcome back, welcome back, John. Like you're a guest all the time on the show. You know. Anyway, so what's the latest news, my brother?
Yeah, so let's see. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to compete in the physique competition. When you really boil it down, it was freaking hard. I mean, I have the utmost respect for those who compete in physique competitions. I mean, it requires relentless focus, and it's not just about like lifting weights and cardio. It's about literally, I saw it as managing every single detail of your life around your body. And the people who do this and step up on stage, I respect the hell out of them, man. It's a level of sacrifice that I did not fully appreciate, and I'm sure most folks can't truly imagine. It's a level of sacrifice, a level of discipline. And I'd like to think that I could do it. But right now my priorities are not, my body. And what I mean by that is not fitness. And I want to distinguish between fitness and health. And I think that there are some levels of fitness where health actually gets left behind. You focus so much on being, 6-7% body fat. And, that's really ultimately not that healthy, but, those who compete and they get to that, most of them don't maintain that. They know that they're going to go to an extreme for a little amount of time and then come back to health. So that again is a sacrifice, but over and above it being a sacrifice, I was doing it, I think, for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
I told the story of going to Hawaii, seeing my friend who had just competed in a physique competition and he was just shredded. And I was not in the best shape of my life. And I felt really insecure around him. And I felt, hey, well, if he looks like that after a physique competition, then maybe I could look good after a physique competition. And I think that was all the wrong reasons to get into it. I've been drawn to hard things. That's kind of obviously what led me into the SEAL teams, right? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And this felt different though, man. It felt like I was doing hard things, but I became obsessed with it. It was, at first it was exciting. New training plans, meal plans, cardio. And that got me, that did get me feeling a lot better. I will tell you that having a goal and working towards something did get me feeling a lot better. And as I've said in past shows, more capable. I was able to, play with my kids more. I was able to, sprint and stuff like that. But, with regards to the kids, it also started to have, a mental health impact on not just me and but my family. So I'll talk about the mental health impact. So, I enjoyed.
It's interesting. You're just like talking about health, right? And it's just like it's just physical, but like mental health and social health,
emotional health.
You know what I mean, so thanks for diving into this because it's like you're sacrificing a lot in order to work just with the body to get to a certain look, right? To present yourself on stage. So yeah, go ahead.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm sacrificing a lot of these health aspects to look a certain way.
Right.
So I think that became a little selfish, but it was also the family health, right? So let's start with the joy first. Like, so initially I felt a lot of joy of getting back into the gym and eating healthy again. But then slowly that joy kind of disappeared and that training stopped being something that I look forward to. It started to feel like work. And with real work, the job, our podcast, everything else, the family, it started to feel like work that I couldn't truly catch up on. And I noticed myself getting obsessive. So if I miss a workout, then I'd beat myself up. Or if I went off plan on food, then I would carry that guilt all day. So instead of feeling proud about the progress that I was making, I was stuck in this comparison game, looking at other bodybuilders on Instagram and other social media, and then looking at others in the gym, and even, and this one hurt the worst, comparing myself to past versions of me. Like, I've been in really good shape in the past.
I've seen pictures, man. It's legit.
And I'm 48 years old. I've got 3 kids. Not saying that that's an excuse, but it's a different life. And when I was comparing myself to my 35-year-old or 36-year-old self, I would beat myself up and be like, hey, I can get there again. But then kind of the wake-up call for all, and how this was not just hurting me, but it was hurting my family, came when my kids came up to me, and that, like, my eldest daughter, she's skinny, she's 8. Yeah. And she came up to me and started talking about how fat she was, and how she had fat arms, and that's language that worries me as a father, to hear them saying that. But then also, when I peel back the onion, I'm like, well, where's this coming from? And I try not to use words like fat around my kids, or at all, really. But what I try to do is say, hey, look, I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to be fit. But even when they're eating, chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, and I'm eating grilled chicken with broccoli, they're like, well, why aren't you eating this? Well, and, they go out to ice cream and I'm not eating it, or if whatever. Bottom line is, my meal looks different than everybody else's. Well, why? Well, I'm trying to be fit. Well, that kind of, it works their way into their brains and in their psyche. And that was like a freaking gut punch, man. And I don't want their relationship with food and exercise to be warped because of what I modeled. And so I realized that I don't want to hand them my insecurities. I want to hand them confidence and balance and joy. And I think that was an important piece that I needed to see, unfortunately, see and hear, but also feel, to make me take a step back and say, okay, why am I doing this? And is this truly good for me? Is it good for my family? Yeah. Sorry, man, I'm rambling on. So if you want to stop me and just ask a question.
You're letting out all the good stuff,
Yeah.
One thing that I have here is like, you must have learned a lot, to get to this decision. And, what are those, you talked about some of them. What are some of those, you talked about, what I liked hearing about overall health, not just physical health, right? But like health across like every aspect of your life. And, what are some of those things that you did learn as far as like, I guess it's like a healthy balance, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not just, you need a good, strong body in order to show up big, in order to be there for your kids, in order to have the energy, in order to like put forth the, the effort that it requires to, be an entrepreneur, to produce this podcast, to be a great husband, a great father, to be a great man
come back
in the world.
To that too.
Yeah. So, what did you learn? This is quite an adventure. We started.
Oh, it has been, man.
We come through. So
it truly has, like, we called it John's fitness journey, and it has been just that, right? A hell of an adventure. I've learned a ton, but I'll say, there's some false trade-offs, with extreme fitness. So, extreme fitness comes at a cost of health. Like, on paper, you look healthier than ever, right? You look at pictures and you're like, man, this guy is ripped. But on the inside, I might be stressed out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sleep deprived. Like, there was times I was like, well, shit, I haven't got my workout in. I'm going to go to the gym at 11:30 at night and then wake up the next day at 6 a.m. to get another workout in. And it was just like, okay, well, what is that doing to my sleep? What is that doing to my hormones? And I realized that I was sacrificing things that mattered. So with that lack of sleep, with eating differently, and I won't say poorly, but I was eating differently, my patience changed, my presence changed, my joy, quite honestly, changed. And it was ultimately, if you zoom out, it was for something that didn't matter nearly as much, right? My family, my kids, my health.
Yeah.
I was sacrificing all that to go stand up on stage and say, hey, look, I'm in good shape.
Well, what were some of those? Go ahead, John.
And like, fitness without health is like wealth without health, or wealth without peace, right? We talk about being rich. Well, there's different ways to be rich. Well, I think there's also different ways to be fit. And what does overall fitness look like? What does overall fitness look like? It looks like wellness. And that looks like having your shit together in your body, in your mind, in your family, your emotions. It's I don't want to knock people who are doing this as their journey, right? I want to respect all journeys. And I want to make this clear. I'm not here to criticize those who choose this lifestyle. I mean, there are some studs here in Colorado Springs that I've worked with, men and women, and they've chosen this lifestyle and they inspire me. I'm not here to put down those folks. Or also flip side, I don't want to put down folks who don't work out at all. Their priorities are different. Maybe their priorities are work and family and they don't hit the gym. Ideally, you find a mix there, but I don't want to put people down.
Right.
My stance, my viewpoint, my POV is that you've got to know what you're chasing and make sure that what you're chasing actually lines up with your values. And I think that's an important piece. But you also mentioned, family, right? And I talked about what it did with my kids, but I felt there's a lot of things that contributed to some relational strain. I'll just call it that, between me and Becca. And the exhaustion and obsession that I had with this, it started to bleed into my relationship. I was shorter with Becca, quicker to lose patience with her and with my kids. And then I'd be physically present, but mentally absent, thinking about, why did I eat that piece of bread earlier? Or what's my next workout going to be? What's my next meal going to be? So I was stressing about this. And my wife, my kids, none of them signed up for this. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. And they didn't. So I think that was what some of the wake up calls, if you will, that really had me change from a fitness journey to a health journey. I'm still working out, but I'm doing it in a healthier way. It's less extreme. I'm still eating well, not extreme. Like if I want a slice of pizza, I'll go and have a slice of pizza and not beat myself up for it. And also not try to go and be like, well, I had a piece of pizza last night, so that's another 2 miles that I have to run tomorrow. No, it's just part of life, right? I think this journey has helped me to find a better balance across all the areas, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And I think that's how we have to redefine what success looks like, right? And when I started this, success meant standing up on a stage, big biceps, big chest, ripped abs, low body fat. And now it means, being able to go and hike with my kids, or wrestle on the living room floor, and take the dogs for a walk, or maybe even take them for a run, and then still have energy to hang out with my wife and be present and have more patience. And it really means, to me, it means having a body that serves my life and not a life that serves my body, right? It means having balance across those areas that I mentioned before.
Well, you needed to go to the extreme in order to realize, whoa, like this is just not enough. Like, I mean, 'cause that's like, I think that's one, I mean, I'm so proud of you for going through this journey, for, just being so vulnerable and so authentic now, and sharing it with us, sharing it with our community and me. But like I could see, it's like going to such a far extreme, like going to the extreme part of the pendulum, And then all of a sudden, like, it just broke, you know what I mean? It just, and then it like swung back, you know,
Man.
and that, yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've been guilty of in the past, right? Is like all or nothing. We've talked about that on the show before. Hey, if I'm not in the gym for 2 hours, then I'm not going to work out at all. If I'm not eating chicken and broccoli, then by God, I'm going to eat a gallon of ice cream.
Yeah, right.
Well, this journey, you will holding me accountable via the show, but also our listeners holding me accountable, checking in on me. That's been awesome. It truly has been inspirational, but it's also kept me from swinging all the way back to the other side. Now I'm like, okay, well, what does this look like for me to be healthy? Not extremely fit, but healthy. And, you know, I appreciate the support that I've gotten from everyone. Yeah. But I will say, we talk about mindfulness, right? And fitness and mindfulness aren't separate for me anymore. They kind of go hand in hand. And so when I lift, I pay attention to how my body feels, not just how it looks, right? And I started to get obsessed with how it was looking in the mirror, and I was
how
like,
it wasn't looking, right?
Or how it wasn't looking. Yeah, right. Great point. Yeah. But I mean, I was getting fit. I was starting to feel really good about looking in the mirror and being like, hey, you know what? I look good.
Yeah.
But I was doing pull-ups and my arms were killing me. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. Work through this pain. You've got to work through this pain. You've got to work through this pain to look good. But now I'm paying more attention to how my body feels, not just how it looks. So when I run or do cardio, it's as much about my emotional clarity, right? Clearing my head as it is conditioning my heart. And I ask myself, hey, is this workout making me better or just wearing me out, wearing me down?
Right.
And I think that's the mindfulness aspect of this health journey that it's become.
Yeah. Well, how would you, we touched on it a little bit, or you did, like, how would you define health now? You know, how would you define health?
Yeah. So I like to think of a Venn diagram. And
there's no way you said it.
Yeah, you know me with my Venn diagrams, man. Just kidding. And you've got this huge circle that is wellness and or health. I think wellness and health kind of go together. And within that, you've got, your emotional health, you've got your spiritual health, you've got your physical health. And all this comes together. And then in that as well is mindfulness. Mindfulness is a piece of health. And then within the mindfulness circle is an even smaller circle, which is meditation. Meditation is a part of mindfulness. But I would say that health is a lot more holistic than fitness is. Health includes fitness, but when fitness comes at the cost of health, that's when there's a differentiator. And then it also, health and wellness includes that relational health, right? And that could be your loved ones in your family, but it can also be your loved ones and your friends, right? Like, I'll be honest, Will, I'm surprised you didn't catch on a couple of times when I was texting you, and I was probably pretty short via my text, and like, I'm surprised you didn't call me out on it. But my relationship with you probably at times was stressed because of this. I mean, it was with everyone. It wasn't just you, but it was with everyone.
Yeah. Well, I picked up on it, I think. I was just like, dude, like, I got an easier life without like 3 kids and a wife. So it's just like, I'm like, I guess he's whatever, just like got up late or who knows what's going on. And like, and I like, and just,
you roll with the punches, man.
No, of course I do. And I love you. And it's, and that's it. Like, and that we have a strong relationship, and like, I'm not going to take things personal. I try really not
thank
to.
you. Thank you.
Of course,
and, And you could probably also just be like, well, he hasn't had a piece of pizza in a couple of weeks, or he's sleeping only 6 hours or 5 hours a night. So thank you for your grace. But that relational health, that's with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your colleagues, your spiritual health. That could be religion, or it could be, your mindfulness practice, or it could be whatever you believe in spiritually. Your financial health, you've got to take care of that. There's all different aspects
mental
to health.
And right?
Absolutely. Mental health is absolutely.
And
I would say fitness is a small part of that. There's like, if you took care of all the other aspects of your health, spiritual, mental, emotional, financial, relational, all of these. And fitness was just barely taken care of.
Right.
I would say you're in better health than a lot of fit people who run and lift weights all day. More power to them for being fit, but at what cost is it coming health wise? And I'm not just meaning physical health, right? I'm not meaning that their body fat percentage is so low. I'm not meaning that their hormones are so out of whack. I mean, again, coming back to some of these other health aspects that were coming into being at risk with my life, relational, emotional, mental, it was starting to weigh on me. So I also, I'm going to pivot here real quick. The sustainability, fitness, to stand up on stage and compete, that's just not sustainable. Like that's
real lifestyle.
That's a sprint.
Around,
whether it's a sprint for 6 months or a sprint for 6 weeks or whatever, that's a sprint. But overall health, I think is a marathon. I ask myself, I'm 48 years old. Will I be able to do this when I'm 60? Probably not. 70, 80. And the answer with competition prep, that's a no. But my answer with health is an absolute yes. And I don't want to peak for one moment in time. I want to stay strong and capable for the rest of my life. So I think that's maybe I'd like to share a couple of lessons with others who may be listening.
And then I have
hopefully some people are listening.
Yeah, they definitely are, John.
So some lessons for others, right? So I don't think extreme fitness is wrong. It's just not the same as health. You got to know the difference, and you got to know at what cost extreme fitness comes. And it's not just financial cost, but otherwise. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is what I'm doing serving my life, or is it taking from it? Don't confuse discipline with joylessness, right? We've had Jocko on to talk about discipline equals freedom. Well, I believe that you can be disciplined and still live a full and balanced life. You don't have to crush your soul every day. You can be disciplined to live a full and balanced life. Yeah, and then,
I think you have to be.
You
have to say,
Absolutely.
You have to set boundaries, and you can't just, in all aspects of life. If you're giving up your mental health in order to push through at a physical extreme, you're going out of balance. If you're sacrificing your family in order to get another workout in so you can lose another half a pound, something's going to sacrifice. It's like a Venn diagram. It's like an organism, right? That you need to
it's living, breathing.
Yeah, it's living and breathing. It's day to day, moment to moment, and the discipline that kind of Jocko talks about, what you're talking about here, is just having good non-negotiables that keep you in the balance of this organism. It's tricky.
Very
right. But it's but this is such a great lesson to be able to come back from this. Yeah,
I think it's something that you need to assess almost daily, right?
I agree.
Okay, what am I going to prioritize today? Am I going to prioritize my diet and my workout over my sleep, or am I going to prioritize my sleep so that I can be, have more patience and be more loving and kind to my family?
Right.
And ultimately, I think it boils down to something that we've spoken about on the show before, and that's progress, right? Progress versus perfection, and progress matters more than perfection. So, I'll leave it at that. I know you have another question, and then maybe I'll have to add a closing comment based off of that.
Yeah, I think, I was I don't know if this question is really, I said, looking back, what would you have done differently? I mean, you wouldn't even really sign up for this competition if you knew, right?
Yeah.
This would be the end result. So it's just looking back, it's okay, taking yourself to that trigger moment. It's oh my God, he looks fantastic. I look not so fantastic. It's and I'm being kind, right? And it's okay, so looking at this guy who just had this, incredible physique, what would you, looking at that moment, like what would you maybe have thought of differently, if you can go back and change time?
I don't know that I would want to, because there's a lot of lessons that I learned through this journey.
Great point.
Right.
Really good point.
But looking at him, he's got his life together. The guy, at least from the outside, looking at the outside, he takes care of his family. Okay. His job is a certain job. He's got things where they need to be for him, and his ability to prioritize fitness in order to stand on stage. That's what is important to him. And it actually, for him, helps him to be the dad he wants to be. For me, my experience was different. I will tell you, man, the discipline, it's freaking hard. And I was also, I will admit, there's a part of me that's just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. And I had to come to grips with that, and then see myself, okay, there was a part of me that's like, hey, if I don't do this, then I'm a failure. I put it out there to the world, people, maybe not the world, but our listeners, my social media followers. I put that out there, and they're going to see me as a failure. And what am I going to do if I don't do it? Well, some people may see me as a failure. Some people may say, you know what, he quit on this goal. But I think I learned a lot of lessons along the way. And every failure, I mean, if you look at this as a failure, what did I learn? I think what I learned from this is more valuable than my standing up on stage and competing. I learned about health. I learned a lot of things that I've learned in the past. But it was just kind of, it reminded me what's important in my life, and my health and my family. I think those are the two most important things in my life right now, with my family being number one. So if it started to affect those two things, mental health, physical health, emotional wealth, it's not worth it.
Your family's wealth and health.
Absolutely.
Right, and people are entitled to their opinions, but that's their opinion. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, I thank you for your opinions out there, but ultimately you're the one who has to wake up in the morning. You're the one who has to hang out with your kids and be with your wonderful wife. You know what I mean? And it's like, and if you're not showing up in the proper way for them, then you're doing yourself and the entire family and even our community here a disservice, because like you're sacrificing in such a deep way that it's just like it's creating a harmful effects everywhere.
Right. And I'm glad you said that with the community, because that was like I just mentioned, I felt like I was kind of letting the community down.
Yeah.
But here's the truth of it is, now I think the community has always seen me as a human being first.
Yeah, I agree.
And not the SEAL first, hopefully. And they see that I am human. I am going to have things that I may not be able to do, or I don't want to do, or, I've got to be authentic and vulnerable. And at the end of the day, I started this for all the wrong reasons. And I've made a pivot because I want to be a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better friend, a better leader. And to me, that's the win that matters, is people see me as authentic, vulnerable, and they see that my pivot is because of my priorities, and they see, you know what? John's a good example. And if I can be strong, healthy, full of joy, and I can be present, then I've built the kind of body and life that really counts.
There you go. That's a great way to put this to bed, John. I think that's awesome. It feels really good when I hear that. It's just like that. That's what it's like to come home. Like that's what it's like to get to this moment. Really,
yes,
you know what I mean?
Indeed.
To get to this moment of like clarity, and it's not failure, it's feedback, and got a lot of feedback on this journey.
There you go.
And here you are, like we're sharing these lessons with our community, and thanks for putting this all out there, John. Like we're still going down the Spartan race and gonna have
we
fun.
are.
I'm a little like, since I got back from Peru, like I have not like been I just haven't been hitting the gym as much as I want to, but
Well,
I'm
don't
strong.
beat yourself
I'm ready
up
to
for
go.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, oh God, I think I'm still recovering in some way from Peru. That was a pretty intense experience.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But that's all we got. I mean, anything else, John? I think we nailed everything.
Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me have this platform. Let me share my journey, both my fitness and now what has become my health journey.
Yeah.
And thank you all to our listeners for your support. And thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable, and thank you for your grace. Right, I appreciate that. None of us are perfect, and none of us are. Well, none of us really. When you boil this down, the health is what matters. My health and my family, and I know you all listening get that. So. Thank you for everything. That's all I've got.
Yeah. Thank everyone for listening and coming on this journey with us. And like, hey, leave some comments. Like, we'd love to, hear your comments on our Spotify, or you can drop us a message, or I'm sure John will be engaging with this on LinkedIn. And so what has been your struggles with fitness and trying to find like an overall Venn diagram of good health? You know what I mean? It really makes a big difference. It really makes a big difference. So
indeed,
and we can help you. Maybe just listening to this entire journey, getting to this point, will help you to kind of see and make some different choices along the way. So, thank you.
Thanks, brother. Yeah. Thanks all.
Thank you, John.
Take care, everybody.
Peace.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.